Hello, and welcome back to another video. If you're looking for recommendations on what manhwa to read, then here are some that I've read recently that might be of interest. Manhwa titles are timestamped in the video for your convenience. Our first manhwa for today is I Created a Harem by Accident, a reincarnation manhwa that I've currently read up to chapter 73 on. Its main character is Selena, the supposed protagonist of a novel that has quite the rough and unfortunate ending in front of her by the hands of the male lead. Of course, our Selena is a reincarnated person who is aware of all these future events ahead of her. Now, she must look to try and prevent the story from coming to fruition. However, it will be significantly harder than she thinks. Selena ends up trying a whole assortment of different things, and if the title isn't enough to give a hint, there are going to be quite the number of men who will be interested in her. The story is 7 out of 10. Wanting a way out of an ending that isn't favorable to the female lead is a very natural course of action given Selena's situation. The way she tries to go about while both being logical and understandable will have multiple adverse effects that I'm not sure she's quite ready for just yet. The characters are 6 out of 10. A little bit more on the simplistic side, there isn't really much to delve into for any of the characters, at least currently. There doesn't seem to be a lot of room for growth for any of them other than the intended direction of romantic fantasy. Hopefully, you can prove me wrong in this regard. The art is 8 out of 10. For those looking for another romantic fantasy manhwa that just looks nice in terms of its backgrounds, character portraits, and overall scenes, then this totally fits the normal bill of expectations. So if you're a fan of romantic fantasy stories and enjoy multiple romantic interests, even if it leans heavily for one particular choice for the female main character, then I Created a Harem by Accident might just be accidentally good for you. This next manhwa to take a look at is Absolute Regression, a regression manhwa that I've currently read up to chapter 50 on. The protagonist of this story is Go-Mu-Gok, an individual who we are introduced to right away that is seemingly quite motivated towards a particular objective. That objective is finding a way to return to the past. After seeing his life crumble, after his father, the leader of the demonic sect in this Harem setting, Mugok vows to somehow make things turn around. Finally, after living a long life, he achieves what is needed to go back, and what do you know, it actually allows him to return. Now, with the mindset of someone much wiser, more receptive to those around him, and also more mature and sensitive to the world, Mugok wants to connect with both his father and those of his sect to change it in such a way so that it doesn't get destroyed once more. The story is 10 out of 10. From its pacing, overall mood, and story direction, the whole feeling of the manhwa just captivates me. Mugok as a main character who has lived it all and regressed but is both forward and subtle in how he wants to change things intrigued me right away. This, plus the political struggles showcased within the sect, offer a wide range of struggles and moments that Mugok has to overcome. The characters are 9 out of 10. Personable, humanistic, a little complex and easy to get attached to are the 4 ways I would describe this manhwa's characters. They're just so easy to get attached to and enjoy that you find yourself binging what available chapters there are once you get settled in. To be quite honest, it's the main reason I really enjoyed this manhwa. The art is also 9 out of 10. With its art style, it's able to convey great combat sequences but also offer a range of facial close-ups that truly make you study the character's expression like Mugok to try and read them if you so will, making each of those situations quite memorable. So if you're looking for a regression action manhwa focused on the supposed bad side of the Harem world, then Absolute Regression will definitely suit your tastes. Thanks again to those that recommended this manhwa. We have 2 shorter stories for this week to take a look at, and our first one is The Extra Decided to Be Fake, a drama manhwa that I've currently read up to chapter 27 on. Lillian is the name of its main character. Originally an orphan, Lillian and her best friend, Swan, made the best of the bad hand they were given, that is, one day until Swan's illness got the better of her and took her away. This caused Lillian great sadness, but Swan urged Lillian to take her place as the Duke's daughter by bringing her necklace to him. Vowing to live the life that Swan couldn't, Lillian hatches a plan to do exactly that, become the daughter of the Duke that Swan should have been. Once there though, will she be even accepted? Or Is there more to this situation than meets the eye? The potential is 8 out of 10. Living a life not intentionally for her makes Lillian quite the emotional wreck. Already quite intelligent for her age, Lillian has had to mature very quickly, which causes her to overthink the situations that she finds herself in. Can she even let herself be happy now that Swan is gone? She finds herself more in an imposter syndrome moments due to it. What we will see of the plot as it continues though, I wonder. The art is also 8 out of 10. The struggles of the orphanage and the initial situation is displayed to us brutally. It doesn't pull any punches with regards to the schemes and machinations of those that wanted to abuse the situation at hand. This, of course, is in contrast to the life of what the Duke Mayfield can provide once Lillian arrives there, and the bonding is touching, yet also quite awkward. So if you're a fan of following newer stories and enjoy the little synopsis and details of the plot I've laid out here, then give the extra decided to be a fake a read when you get the chance. The other shorter story for this week is I Regressed But the World Didn't Fall, a regression manhwa that I've currently read up to chapter 20 on. The focus of this story is on Lee Do-hyuk, an individual who lived a life battling the normal humanity and earth-ending threats, but ultimately failing to do so. As a last-ditch effort, he has chosen to go back in time and save humanity from this threat. Whilst he does everything he can to prepare, once the moment comes, nothing happens. Huh? A weird spin on things, Do-hyuk now has to live in the modern day world that he left behind, but with the skills of trying to survive an apocalypse from his first life. His reality now? Streaming. The potential is 9 out of 10. Just from the premise alone, this has been one of the more unique takes on a fantasy modern genre that I've seen in a while. It's able to turn that apocalypse regression experience completely on its head and just have fun with the what-if scenarios. It transitions to a more game and streaming focus, of course, once we've understood Do-hyuk's abilities. The art is 8 out of 10. Given Do-hyuk's past experience, his survival and combat prowess are immediately showcased when playing the VR games in his new current world. The banter, interactions, and various situations he finds himself in are both amusing and nice to read through. So if you're a fan of following newer stories and wanted something that shakes the usual action regression genre up a bit into a modern gaming plotline, but with a streaming focus, like Genius Archer's live streaming for my previous videos, then I Regress But the World Didn't Fall would be a good one to pick up as a break. Another week, another highlight. For those unaware, this is the section of the video I update impressions for manhwa that I've previously covered. Today's highlight is The Perfect Hybrid, which I've now read up to chapter 113 on. Info card and description will have links to my original opinion. Yu Gwang-ik has grown a lot compared to our initial introduction with him over 100 plus chapters ago. From his humble days of being an office worker, who clearly did a lot more than just trying to keep busy at a desk all day, meeting various individuals that are quite talented in their various fields, to finding out and then resolving multiple complicated family situations that may or may not benefit or block him in the future, Gwang-ik for sure isn't the naive individual he once was. Of course, he's still very much a hothead, but now it has more of an objective and purpose to it rather than just bulldozing his way through everything. This, of course, still does happen, but with his newfound training for both his immortal and shapeshifter powers, there isn't a lot that he can't handle. My previous scores for this manhwa were 7 out of 10 for story and 8 out of 10 for characters and art. The story stays the same at 7 out of 10 as the story and plots have completely shifted from its initial foundation. To be honest, I didn't expect Gwang-ik to end up establishing his own core, to say the least. Pleasant surprise, but also gets confusing at some points. The characters though go down 1 point from 8 out of 10 to 7 out of 10. And the main reason for that is that there are just too many characters and relationships now to try and keep track of if you like to be invested and predict where things may go. Otherwise, it's a solid cast with both likable and amusing characters. The art though has moved up 1 point from 8 out of 10 to 9 out of 10 as the combat situations, the powers displayed by Gwang-ik and various other characters, plus the overall problematic danger that the world is in right now, allows for a lot of displays for powerful feats that allow Gwang-ik and his companions to showcase just how much they can handle. The Perfect Hybrid has had a little bit of a shift towards a more independent mercenary type work since its initial impressions. So if you're a fan of modern action manhwas that has quite the fantasy and overpowered genres heavily mixed in now, then it would definitely be suited for you. Would you agree or would you not? Comment down below your thoughts on The Perfect Hybrid. Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you do enjoy the content. Write in the comment section down below what manhwa you've been reading and I might just take a look. Till next time though, have a good read.